Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter Baby J. I am your host, Darshelle Lynette, and thank you so much for everyone for your support over these past weeks with the episode. And thank you for sticking with me. I am so glad that you tuned in today, and I am going to be talking about my love capacity today. So I didn't do an episode, as you know, last week because part of me going through this journey of experiencing miscarriage after the age of 40 is knowing, and I'm learning myself again. So I am working on having a double doctorate in learning me. So I know that there are times that I feel, just sad and all of that stuff where I just can't mentally do a podcast. Can't do nothing really. Just go to work and come home, go to sleep. That's it. And so with that and learning myself, I'm being smart about what I'm actually posting and wanting to post and all of that stuff concerning this. Actually, I do that with everything, but just saying concerning this podcast, I want to actually give information and not, like I said in my message, I don't want to be spewing just my emotions all over the internet and the social verse, because I don't want you to waste your time. I want you to tune in and be, entertained, informed, however whatever you get from listening to the podcast and following and learn along on my journey with me. So that's why I didn't do it last week. So I am in a much better headspace this week. So I said, hey, let's get it done. So this one, and last week, I actually, during the time that I didn't do it, I was actually thinking about this topic, and I was going to do it, but a different version of it last week. And so I was like, well, I can actually still do this. I can just do it in a way that I think is more appropriate and a little bit more informative. So my love capacity. So the definition, I actually looked it up of capacity. I actually like looking up definitions of words that I use. So I'll make sure I'm using them properly and all of that. So this is my love capacity. Capacity means, and these are a few definitions that I found, the legal competency, which is the word capacity. That's one definition. And then another one is potential suitability for holding, storing, or accommodating. Number 3, an individual's mental or physical ability and have the faculty or potential for treating, experiencing, or appreciating. And then the last one I found was the facility or power to produce, perform, or deploy. So with all of that, what is my capacity to love at this point? And do I feel like I have that capacity anymore to do it again after what happened? So as you know, so far in the podcast, I've been talking, pre and post. So when I'm talking about pre and post, I mean pre-menopause, not menopause, miscarriage. I'm not in menopause yet, y'all. So I don't even know why I said that word. Weird. But anyway, that's a part of recording. But pre-miscarriage and then post-miscarriage. And so some of the things, and I'm actually, obviously, y'all know I have my little planner with me. It's not really little, but whatever. My question, do I have the capacity to love on the level or beyond that I actually did? Do I have that capacity to do it again? And my history from that is, I'm going to be transparent, as I have been as much as I want to be. I have actually only been in love one time. I will be 45 this year, and I've only experienced love once. So I have friends that I have love for. I have friends that I know that have love for me, male and female. But in a actual physical relationship, personal relationship, however you want to call it, romantic, I think is the better term for it. I only like men, so let me get that out there, because I know some people are, fluid with their sexuality and stuff. I'm not fluid. It's not fluid. I like men, and that's it. God bless you. So with that, I've only been in love one time, and the time that I was in love was when the guy that I had the miscarriage with. Amazingly enough, I have actually had, let's say, a few boyfriends and men friends and such in my life, but I ain't gonna give y'all the number because that ain't none of y'all business. But I've had some, what they call it now, situationships and friends with benefits and all of that stuff, where I'm a person, when I get into a relationship, I'm going in it telling the guy ahead of time. So this is what I want out of this. It may actually be, I want a real relationship, and it may be that I'm like, yeah, no, you ain't gonna, I already know you're gonna bother me and get on my nerves. So I might just have some fun with you for a while and then I'm done. The longest relationship I can say that I've ever been in was also, amazingly enough, the man that I had the miscarriage by, or had the baby, or got pregnant by. And then that was it, because we was off and on for a total of 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, somewhere in there. So that being said, my actual experience in love has not been really, I can't say I really have experienced it enough to say, if I experienced it in that time frame that I did that once, to know if I feel like I can do it again. Now, do I have a lot of examples? I can say personally, no. Some people grew up and had, parents who were very loving and affectionate and stuff like that. That was not my experience. So my parents were married until my dad died. I believe they were married for 34 years, and which is, awesome and all of that. But we weren't an affectionate household. Even though both of my parents were in the home and I have a lot of brothers and sisters, we just weren't affectionate like that. So that's not something I grew up doing. So when I saw people doing that, it was kind of foreign to me. My grandparents weren't like that, neither Set. When I was around them, I don't know what happened when I wasn't there, but I'm just saying when I was around them, neither Set was that way. I usually saw them arguing, whether they were arguing or arguing for real, they were arguing. And so that's what I saw. So I didn't really have examples of people being in love. And then when I got older and my friends that were married and stuff like that, a lot of them ended up getting divorced. So I just didn't have a whole bunch of examples personally to really glean from about love and stuff like that. And then some people that I wanted to ask about it were the ones that were actually having issues in their marriage and stuff like that. And so I was like, yeah, this is not going to be, even if I asked, I felt like they would give me the opinion of what was going on right then with them. So it wouldn't really be helpful for me. So I just was like, let me not do that. So I unfortunately didn't have any great examples of that. And so honestly, I can say it hasn't been just the best for me in that area of my life. Unfortunately, I've had fun, but I can't say that I've had very many examples where it's deep and personal. It's like, oh my gosh, I love this, I want to do it again and stuff like that. That has not been my that hasn't been my life. So me, as I stated before, when I go into whatever, a relationship, be it, friendship, romantic relationship, or whatever the case may be, I generally am very honest at the beginning, because I don't want anybody to say, well, I didn't know this. And I hated when I was younger, when guys would say, well, I want to get married and I want to do this and da. And come to find out it was a lie. They didn't really want that. They wanted, sex or whatever the case may be. So as I've gotten older and how I know myself now, I can tell you, well, yeah, that ain't what I want. Now where I'm at, it's like, I feel like my honesty is like a detriment to me, because I'm being honest and telling you this is what I want out of this. And so it's kind of like, now on one toss of the coin, it's not good, but then on another one, it's like, okay, well, it's weeding other, the guys out that I just really don't want to deal with anyway. So it's kind of like, but it's, so far, it's been a little bit disheartening is the word that I'll use. So, and as I stated, most of the guys, even now, most of them that I've encountered since the miscarriage, I am very cautious about even going out with guys or whatever, because I want to know that they're worth my time at this point. I am getting into the dating scene when I start, when I go out on a date, I want the man to know ultimately I am doing this because I'm looking for a partner, a life partner, to be married and all of that stuff. And if that's not what your goal is, then we don't even need to do this. Don't tell me, well, yeah, I want to do this too, and because you're trying to get something from me, because it's not, now definitely for sure, it's not going to work. I know where I am, and mostly now, most of the time, and this has been pretty much all my life in dating, any guy that told me something, I generally knew if he was telling the truth, but sometimes, I couldn't tell until a little bit later. It took me a little bit, but most of the time I could tell from jump, be like, okay, yeah, I got you. Whatever, you saying that, but yeah, okay. So most of my experiences have not been extended, extended relationships or anything like that, just because I'm a person that, again, I'm honest. I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time on something when I know we're not going on the same path. We're not driving down the same road. So since I know that, let's just go ahead and, just not do this, not waste each other's time. So that's where I have been previously when I was dating. So knowing that, and having the guys that I have really been, some of the guys that I've really been interested in, that, told me they really were interested in a relationship and all of that stuff, and have them lie to me, it has caused me to have some extensive trust issues that I know that I'm working through. But it just makes me really cautious, like I said, in the guys that I actually am around and I want to be with. Now, I was at first was like, I don't even know if I want to date anymore, but I was able to go out, and it wasn't on a date. I was actually able to go out with a gentleman, and I loved that energy. And I miss that, because I would go out with guys, and just have male energy around me. I love that, to be able to get a different perspective, the male perspective on different topics and stuff like that. And so I was like, I haven't had this in a long time, and I miss it. So I want to do this some more. I really want to do this more. But I also remember that we are still in a pandemic. So me going out, and even though I'm vaccinated, I did have COVID earlier this year. And it was after I got vaccinated, I contracted COVID, unfortunately. And ever since, well, actually before then, but I realized that I have a little bit of angst and anxiety, because that's basically the same thing, about dating. Because I'm going out or whatever, even though I'm a social person, I love going and hanging out with people and stuff like that. But just knowing how disgusting people are now, it's kind of like, do I really want to go out? And do I really want to be around somebody that I don't know where they've been? And all of this stuff is kind of like, ooh, I don't know if this is something that I really want to, get into again. And I'm willing to risk it, because I really do want to start dating again, and I do want to find a life partner and all of that stuff. And I know that I can't do that being in the house. I got to put myself out there. I even considered doing dating apps again. I don't know about that necessarily, but I know I'm not going to meet nobody at my job or whatever. Because I'm not the person that dates people that I work with just because, it's all kind of problem set up from the jump. So I'm not here for that. I mean, power to everybody that want to do it and have done it and do it, God bless. But that ain't your girl. So I have been trying to decide how I'm going to work myself back into the dating scene. And then what is the dating scene here in Oklahoma City? It has been traditionally pre-miscarriage. It was okay. It wasn't, fabulous or nothing like that. But post, I'm like, ugh, slim pickings. So yeah, I don't know. I might have to do the dating app just to find, some eligible guys that I really am interested in. Some that are really, living their life out there, looking for something meaningful as well, and not just, and again, where I'm at with my love capacity at this point, I know that I kind of have the capacity to do it, but I also know that I have issues with guys that just don't have no ambition. That's a problem for me. I don't like to, not just guys in general, I don't like being around people who don't have any type of ambition. I'm not saying that you got to be working 24/7. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to have a balance and you have to have something that you're working towards, some type of goals. And a lot of the guys that have been approaching me via the socialverse, in my DMs and stuff like that, are not about nothing. I'm like, so what are you doing? What do you want to do? Where are you? Well, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to start my business. I'm trying. Well, what are you doing though? Are you in school? Are you saying you're trying to start a business? Why haven't you started it? Like, are you working now? Are you living with somebody? Those are things that are very important, obviously, during dating. And when you dating, you just collecting data about people anyway to see if y'all gonna be compatible. And a lot of guys that reach out, I just be like, so what kind of vibes am I giving off that I'm attracting these people? And I was talking to one of my sisters yesterday, and I was explaining to her that I realized, as I'm doing all of this self-reflection and stuff like that and trying to figure out, where I'm going kind of with the dating situation and my love capacity, I've in the past actually dated a lot of introverts. And I was like, I didn't realize that until I actually looked over, the guys that I've dated and stuff and been in relationship with. A lot of them, I would say 85% of them are introverted. And I was like, that is strange. And she was like, well, and my sister, she was telling me, she said, well, we probably because it's the opposites attract, type of situation. Because I'm, very extroverted or whatever, I can go and I'm gonna have fun. Even if I'm by myself going somewhere, I'm gonna have fun and enjoy myself. So that's me. And some of my friends actually are introverts. Some of my close friends, one of my best friends is an introvert. And so it's so funny to me that I attract this, which again, I would put it as opposites attract or whatever, which is fine. But then also I'm like, okay, if I attract an introvert, okay, and if they can take all of my personality and such and be okay with it, I'm fine with that. But I need them to be working towards something still. I can't be with somebody in any type of relationship and you're not working towards anything. You don't have any type of goals. You just going from day to day. That I just don't even understand how people live like that. But some people do, and they need that, structure and stuff like that. I'm not that person. And I know I can't be that person in a relationship with somebody. So if that's what's going on. I'm like, okay, but like I said, me attracting men who don't have any type of ambition, I was like, what kind of vibes am I putting out there that is causing you to, say, well, she might actually be good for me? No, I mean, and I don't know, maybe they just shooting their shot. I don't know. So we're trying to figure that out or whatever. But so another thing that I've been thinking about is the possibility of another miscarriage. When I think about being in a romantic relationship and my capacity to love, when I think about all of those definitions that I gave, it makes me think about, okay, do I have the capacity to really do this again? So, like I said, it took almost everything for me to recover from losing a child at the time that I did. And mentally, it was very, very exhausting. I don't know if I would have been able to handle it better if I was younger. I don't know, because I had my daughter, of course, when I was 20 years old. So I was in a different headspace at that point in time. So I don't know if it was so traumatic for me because I actually wanted to have a child and then I lost it. So I don't know if it would have been different if it would have happened at a different time. But that's something that is kind of fearful with me now as well. And some of my trust issues pop up as well, because I think about, okay, if I'm dating somebody, get into a relationship, and we fall in love or are in love with each other and stuff like that, and the man is willing to, he's cool with, I'm in therapy, still working on myself, he's working on himself and all that stuff, is he going to be willing to understand how fearful this type of situation is with me? Now, again, we know that I'm almost 45. We know that some women have babies after, 45 and 50 years old and stuff like that. I never thought that I was going to be one of those women. And if somebody asked me today, would I have a child at my age right now? I would have absolutely said yes. Post, my question, it's always a question. And it's not only because of, will this happen with me again? And if my body can handle it, I'm looking at the totality of it. Mentally, can I handle losing another child if it doesn't work? Is the man going to do like my previous? Is he going to leave, and like it not be a good situation that it's left in, all of that different type of stuff. If he left, then I'm again having to deal with this alone by myself. So it's a lot of different things that bring up anxiety in me when I think about loving and dating and stuff like that. It doesn't generally, it's just like I said before, is collecting data and all of that. But you collecting data, and I have to look at from my perspective now. The way I'm collecting the data is: are you capable of handling this situation and handling this, these emotions with me as I'm going through and navigating this in this time in my life? Are you going to be able to do that? If you're not, that's another thing where I say it's not worth my time, because I don't want to have to, try to explain. Well, let me say this. I will explain, because I'm a big person on communication. I will explain what is going on with me, and I need the man to be okay with being able to, if I say, hey, I need you to give me, some time because I can't do this right now. Mentally, I need to get it together. I need him to be okay with that. And vice versa. He needs to, be able to tell me that, and understand like some of the things that another woman may have done, because I'm a different woman. Obviously, every woman is different. So taking all of those thoughts into consideration, when I go into dating, I'm not just going into, oh, I'm just going out to eat with some guy and just hanging out and stuff like that. All of those things now are a part of my dating process. So it's not just a simple, as me going out. Now, when I try to be like really detached, I can't. It's very difficult for me to do that. And so I'm always very intuitive when a man asks me to go out and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it's not that I can just, especially if I know it's for romantic purposes. If he's saying we just want to go hang out, we friends, and it's already, we platonic friends, it's clear boundaries, I'm cool. We can hang out all day long, whatever. As long as this is not a romantic relationship. In romantic relationships, I'm very, very like skeptical now of a lot of stuff, because I just can't go into it with a surface level thing. I'm going in because of where I'm at mentally now. I'm going in with all of this stuff. Okay, if this happened. And some people say that's putting the cart before the horse. You can say whatever it is. For me, this is how I'm dating now, because I know that I'm very open to, like, I'm very empathetic. I'm just saying empathic. Empathetic now about different things. I can feel a lot of energy, vibes, whatever you want to call it. And so now, because of that, I'm very, like I said, I don't want to be around a lot of different people. I don't want a lot of people in my space, because I don't want them to transfer negative energy to me. And so if I know that you are not worth my time, then I'm not going to have you in my space. So all of that takes it, I take that into consideration too, which again, it just brings on other emotions and thoughts and stuff like that. So y'all, it's a lot. It can be a whole lot. And another thing where I've wondered about my love capacity, and going back to these definitions, can I perform? Do I have the power to produce love? Do I have the power to, physically and the mental capability to, give somebody love again on the level that I did before? And it was exhausting, but in a good way. I enjoyed being able to share myself with somebody else on that level, because I'd never done that before. But I also know that because I opened up myself to that, and I was, completely open, that I also opened myself up to the hurt that I experienced on a greater level that almost took me out of here, And so I'm wondering, like, if I get in a relationship and I'm in love with a man again, and he hurts me, like, am I going to be able to mentally take that again? Because that was devastating for me. And I don't know if it was because I had never experienced anything like that before. And this time, maybe I'm scared also that I wouldn't be able to even open up like that before because of my trust issues now. Because it's like, you might I might let you in like 85, 90%, that 10%, I don't know. That's what I'm really kind of worried. And, just, I don't know. It's kind of, I'm like on the fence about a little bit. And then overall, I'm like, what if I don't, open myself up again all the way, and a man that I'm really interested in is like, well, I can't wait for you to figure this out. And he decides he's going to leave, and he goes and has a wonderful relationship with somebody else. Like, what do I do then? So it's a whole bunch of stuff that really has been, in the headspace or whatever about my love capacity. And I do think that I have obviously the capability to do it again. I'm unclear and unsure if I want to allow myself to be that open again with somebody. It's going to take a very exceptional man, let me say, for me to open myself up like that again, because I was so hurt. And thinking about all of that, I'm wondering, since I know that I know it's not going to happen immediately. Let me say that. So it may take a little bit, and the guy has to be, maybe have to be willing to be okay with me trying to work through these trust issues and be okay with that. And I know some guys are not, willing to do that or whatever. And so it's kind of like, again, it's a lot of questions that I have. And so those are my thoughts right now about my love capacity, and if I will be able to get to that point again or not. Preferably, one day I will. Preferably, I'll meet a man that is willing to work at the relationship while I'm working on myself as well. Because I hope he's, working on himself as well. I know that, nobody's coming into anything 100% perfect or anything like that. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for realness and grace and mercy or whatever in certain situations, when the willingness actually is what more so anything, the willingness to understand that I'm working through some things that happened, and I'm trying to learn myself now and trying to be a better person than I was before, and learning how I'm adjusting and dealing with situations and emotions now post, and knowing that I handle them differently, pre. So those are my thoughts on love capacity this week. I am going to be, hopefully within the next few weeks, before the end of the month, hopefully I'll be able to get some more thoughts in about it. Because I have, this is an ongoing thing, obviously, but I'm not dating anybody. So I have, when these DMs and people reaching out and stuff like that, when it pop up, then it's kind of like, okay, it always starts over again. I kind of go through the situation like, okay, is this, one that I'm willing to, actually go out on a date with? Is it somebody that is actually here that I can actually go out on a date with? Or is it somebody worth me even getting involved with my time? Because my time is precious, y'all, for me. I hate when people waste my time. Like, if you can't do something, it's fine. Just let me know so I'm not wasting time. Because I don't know how much I have. And you don't know how much you have. And so for that, I want to, maximize my time here or whatever. And in the situations of romantic relationships, I want to be able to say that I am giving quality time, because that's what I want, is quality time with the man. And I don't want to waste time knowing that, this is not what he wants or whatever. And so, like I said, it's a lot of thoughts that always come up. So, that's where I'm at right now. So that is the thoughts of the week for the woman over 40, almost 45. Y'all, I'm almost 45. I'm so excited because it's different. I definitely have a different thought process, not only because of the miscarriage, but because of my age. I have a lot of different thoughts, obviously, of things concerning love and relationships that I think about now, how I used to think about things and how I think about it now. It's like, it's interesting. I kind of like it. I kind of like it as an older older woman than I was. So I'm not old or nothing. I'm just an older woman than I was. So anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Once again, I appreciate y'all so very much for coming on this journey with me, learning more about my journey with miscarriage. And if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about, thoughts and emotions, possibly my perspective on a certain topic or whatever about miscarriage, or even if it's not, or pertaining to miscarriage, if it's not pertaining to miscarriage, if you have a question or a thought that you would like me to discuss as a woman over 40 who's had a miscarriage with my perspective on a certain topic, then shoot me a DM, put it in the comments below of the video, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. So love y'all. Thank you so much again for joining and tuning in, and I will see y'all next week. Deuces.